God made a way. This is Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. God made a way. Listen to Brother Peter. God made a way for a man to have union with God. God walked in the garden with Adam. He walked in the garden with Eve. He walked in the garden with that pair, the first pair, and he showed himself that he wanted fellowship with the man and the woman that he had made. He gave them a body, a soul, and a spirit. That they had a volition. They could choose to do right or they could choose to do wrong. They could choose for the rest of their life to walk with God and follow God, or to do what the flesh would do. And the devil talked them into doing what the flesh would do. And do you find still the Adamic nature within yourself? Yes, I do. The doctor said to me, don't eat any bacon. I get a plate and I'm at a breakfast and there's bacon. So I throw 4 or 5 pieces of bacon on the plate. What happens? Well, I sat down by the wrong person. I sat down by an honest man. And that honest man said to me, you're weak in the flesh, Brother Peter. You need to get under your flesh, Brother Peter. If you've been put on a diet, you need to follow it. If that person's telling you how to get your body healthy so God can use it, you need to follow what that person said. And floored me. Hit me hit me broadside with a hammer. It reminded me of a good friend of mine one day. I said to him, I feel so spiritually good today, somebody could slap me on the cheek and I'd turn my cheek. He reached out, and he was a big man, and he was jokingly going to slap me a little bit. Well, he got a little carried away, and when he slapped me and knocked me, he about knocked me on the floor. I stood up and I said, I don't think I'm going to be foolish enough to turn my other cheek to you. But we were kind of going on. But when you get slapped, you need to realize what the slap was for. And I need to be corrected. I've got some weight issue. And those weight issues are causing me some blood pressure issues. And those blood pressure issues are brought on by callousness. What is the callousness? The callousness is the way I eat. Now, what is my spiritual blood pressure? This is what's interesting to me. My spiritual blood pressure. I almost said to that guy that told me I needed to work on the flesh, but my spiritual blood pressure is good. Well, that would be bad to presume that my spiritual blood pressure was good, because if I can't tell that my physical blood pressure is brought on by my physical actions, my spiritual blood pressure is going to be brought on by my spiritual actions. Well, are my spiritual actions good enough so I don't have high blood pressure in the spiritual field? Am I a good well of water? Can somebody come by and drink water from this well, Brother Peter's well? Can you come by and drink? Could you bottle some of it? Could you bottle some of it? Could you cap it? Can you take it home? Could you open it later and drink of it and it still be good? Or would it go stale? What kind of well am I? What kind of spiritual well am I? Can you drink water from this well and it be good water? Not only by hearing, the Bible said, not only by hearing, but by action. Faith is not just hearing. Hearing's the beginning of faith. The Bible said faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. If you're not hearing the Word of God, you're not growing in faith. You're a stagnant well. You are a well of water. If you're in Jesus Christ, and you believe and you say, God saved me, and you're in Him, you can still become a stagnant well. You need to be not a stagnant well. You know, in the day that Jesus was walking across this earth, the Jews had become a stagnant well of water. They were the well of water from Abraham on. They were the well of water for the Jewish nation to drink from, and they had got stagnant. They had got polluted. And because they had, the Samaritan woman knew it at the well of water. And when she saw Jesus and He said, I'm the well you need to drink from, she said, how could that be unless you be the one sent from God that the Jews are looking for? Here's a lady was looking for the Messiah, and she was a Samaritan. And by the way, the lepers, 10 of them, 9 of them were Jews. 1 of them was a Gentile, a Samaritan. The Samaritan came back. It was the Samaritan that came back and bowed down to Jesus and said, surely you are the Messiah, and worshiped God. We are the first fruits. We in this generation are the first fruits in this generation, again, to become the witnesses, to be the wells. Jesus has always had first fruits in every generation. In every generation, the first fruit of those who are following, who have got a good root, who are planted in the spiritual ground that God laid, the Garden of Eden. If you please, we who are the chosen of God, that who is those who have said, Jesus Christ, forgive me of my sin, come into my heart and save my soul and help me to follow you the rest of the days of my life. Remember the girls with the lamps. They didn't have the oil. They looked just like the other 5. There were 10 of them. 5 had the oil and 5 didn't. They all looked just alike. They all carried their lamps just alike. They all trimmed their lamps just alike. They all went to bed just alike. But when that day came and they had to run with their lamps, there was 5 of them realized, I don't have any oil. I don't have any oil. I don't have any oil. And they were left behind. They looked. The Bible said that there was some wheat out there, and the disciples were walking through it. And the disciples could see some things that they knew weren't real wheat. And they were tares. And they were tares. They looked just like the wheat. And they said, well, shall we pluck these tares up and pull them up? And Jesus said, no, leave them alone. If you pluck them up, you will disturb the real wheat. So sometimes we've got a field, white under harvest, looks good. Many of those are tares. If you pull them up, you will disturb a whole family. I have seen in very recent days even, the very church that I am, a whole family be disturbed by one plucked up by the root. And the rest of them died off and dwindled away. And now they're no longer where they need to be, should be, where they're loved, where they're appreciated, where they've got a place where when they get sick and go to the hospital, people will be there, and they've got a family, and they've walked away from the spiritual family. Twice plucked up by the root and outside of the realm. I hate it, and I miss those folks. The first fruits, are we the first fruits? Are we saving other lives today? Are we telling other people daily to drink of this well? Are we daily pulling into the filling station, like I say now, and passing a tract? Are we daily bowing our head in the restaurant and praying for 30 seconds over our food? And other people notice us and say, undoubtedly he's a man of God. Do people think when they meet us, they met a man of God? Do they think they've got a well of water they can drink from? Or do we portray ourselves as stagnant wells, and if you drink from us, you'll get poisoned? Well, our time has come and gone. See